Thanks for watching the DIY Daddy channel. My name is Don, and in this video we're going to be talking about silver, specifically things like sterling silver dinnerware, knives and forks and spoons and things like that. So a lot of times people will pass by, especially dinner knives, in thrift stores and garage sales and stuff, because they're not quite sure if it is really silver, and there's a few ways to test it. The first and the most accurate way is the acid test, where you can buy these little bottles of an acid test solution online. I get mine on eBay. It's about $4 a bottle, and this will last for many, many, many tests. It does have a shelf life of about a year if you keep it in a cool, dry place, so just keep that in mind, because if it gets too old, you're not going to get accurate readings. The only other thing you're going to need is a file, because if you have something that's silver plated and you put the acid on it, you're getting a reading on the silver plate, which is going to be a false positive as well. So what you want to do is file down a section of it to get to that base metal. All right, you don't have to go too far, but far enough down there, and clean it off so there's no silver dust on it. All right, and then all you do is take a couple of drops, or actually just one drop on it. Now, if it's silver, that'll turn blood red. Right? If not, it'll start turning blue or green. Alright, so you want to let it sit for a minute. Sometimes it can take a little while to react, especially if the solution's getting older and that bottle is getting a little bit older. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up two knives right next to each other. Alright, so as you can see on this knife, the acid is starting to turn blue. That means there's a presence of something other than silver there, probably copper. And over here, it's kind of rounded, so it rolled off, but it stayed bright or dark red. So that's a strong indicator that this is sterling silver. Now keep in mind, in these dinner knives, the whole handle is not solid sterling. There's usually a filler like an epoxy or sometimes lead or some other metal in there, but it's a sterling silver skin or case that you can break off. Alright, so when dealing with these things, there's a few other ways to test for silver. They're not as accurate, but they will help you narrow it down. The first step is to look for a stamp. Anything that is silver should have a stamp on it that'll say either sterling, 925, 900, or 800. That refers to the purity of the stamp. So you want to look for those. Now, the next thing you want to do is test for magnetic qualities. So if you're in a store, I have a little magnet on my keychain, so I can test. Of course, the blade's going to be magnetic, but the handle. If you have a really strong magnet, like a neodymium or a rare earth magnet, if you slide it across the top, the magnet should be slightly sticking to it, and that's because silver is paramagnetic and exhibits only weak magnetic effects. So if your magnet sticks strongly, it's ferromagnetic, so it means it's not silver. Keep in mind that there are other metals that don't stick to a magnet and that can be made to look like silver, so it's best to perform this test in conjunction with other tests to be sure that you have silver. So the next test is the ice test, which I find kind of interesting. Have some ice on hand. The reason for this is that silver has the highest thermal conductivity of any common metal or alloy, though copper is right behind it, so you got to be careful with that. But if you were to take a piece of ice and set it on there, it should immediately start melting. All right, and that's dissolving silver. Awesome. So that acid test stuff that you use on there, it's got like nitric acid in it. So you want to make sure that you don't leave it on there, because it's going to start eating your silver. And also make sure you don't get any on your hands, because it'll start eating away at your hand. Right. So then there's the ring test. Now this is something that I've never been able to quite master, but apparently silver, can't really do it with these because it's a combination of steel and silver. And it's not solid silver. But solid silver, if you drop it on a hard surface, it has a very bell-like ring, whereas something that's not has more of a thud. I can't display that for you, but apparently that's something that works. Now, the next method is the bleach test. Now, silver tarnishes extremely quickly, especially when it's exposed to like a powerful oxidizing agent such as common household bleach. So if you were to find a piece that looks really polished and you think might be silver and you put a drop of bleach on it, it should tarnish pretty quickly. The only problem is if it's silver plated, it will do the same thing. So again, it should be done in conjunction with another test. Alright, so that's how you determine if something's silver or not. So ultimately the best test is the chemical test, the acid test. There are some other ways to like kind of get an idea, especially if you're out shopping and you see something that you think is silver, and you want to do like a quick test before you actually buy it or take it home. So remember those few different tests. Remember, magnet test should always be the first thing. If you have any questions, put it down there in the comments. See you on the next one.